Hello, my beautiful replay viewers. If you turn the video on and you're in the beginning, go ahead and fast forward about 5 minutes. I am on early to allow some time for everyone to join. Welcome to the show. I feel like with this music on, guys, I want to have like my smooth jazz radio voice on, like, thank you all for joining tonight. It's going to be a beautiful show. We're going to have a great time listening to the sounds of midnight smooth jazz for you tonight. I'm in a very, like, mellow, and if you're a repeat viewer, you understand why I'm in the camera right now, because I'm trying to pin this comment, okay? Per usual. I'm in just a very mellow mood tonight. I believe we are on, what episode is that? I counted it last night. I think we're on, this might be the 16th episode that we're doing right now. And as I've been staying consistent, hello, welcome. I can't see anyone putting comments right now because I'm trying to put a comment myself and try to pin it. Hey VIP, thank you for joining. Okay. Every night I'm gonna try it. I keep trying to come on earlier so I can give myself a chance to try to pin this comment. But anyway, like I was saying, I'm in a very like relaxed, like really chill mood. I think I had a very like heavy emotional weekend. Hello everyone, thank you for joining. Please put your name, say hi to me. I want to know that you're there. Just a very like heavy emotional, I wouldn't say draining, but it definitely has been draining, and my mind has been going through all of that, and so I just feel very relaxed. And so if you feel relaxed, and it's probably not helping me that I have this jazz music on, but I'm just like this, like I'm like mellow, like in a mellow mood. So it's gonna be a very relaxed, cool conversation, okay? I'll probably get hyped like I usually do around the halfway point when I start sharing a lot of things and talking. So in about 2 minutes here, hello beautiful yourself. In about 2 minutes we'll get started. Oh my goodness, I don't understand. Seriously, cannot pin this comment. Finally got my nails done, guys. The color looks a little weird, but it's like a bright, hey Audrey, thank you. Let me see if I turn the light down if you'll be able to see the color better. So that's the color. So, yeah, I was like, why not? And the guy, seriously, so this is like my little commentary before we start. The man at the nail shop it was a man that did my nails. He was so inspiring because you could just tell that he took so much pride in what he was doing. Like, he was so intense and careful, and it really, really blessed me, because it's like, no matter what you're doing, like when you have pride in what you're doing, like it shows, and it just like warms me up. Thank you, baby. So VIP says, nails looking beautiful. Thank you. Like, he just did such a good job, and I wasn't gonna get the diamond things that people get, and he was gonna put on this finger. I intentionally picked this. I intentionally picked that finger in the middle there, but I wasn't gonna get it done, and he was just so sweet and so nice, and I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and bless him. If he wants to do it, and if he feels that he can be creative with me, go right ahead. Let's get her done, okay? Thank you, Audrey. I appreciate that. Okay, it is 10 o'clock. It is that time of the night, the beautiful, delectable hour of the Good Sex Talk Show with me, Coach Yema. I am here to close the gap for you between your spirituality and your sexuality, and to let you know that they are two sides of the very same coin. mine. Okay, I am also the author of the equally fabulous book named the same title, Good Sex for Single Women. Unmarried, if there's not a ring on your finger, madame, you are still single. If nobody has put a ring on it, you are still single. I don't care if you living with him. I don't care if y'all been dating for 10 years. If there's no ring on it and he has not fully committed to you, and this is going to be important for our conversation today. If he has not fully committed his life to you, you, my friend, including me, well, my situation a little different, but I've been part of the situation before. You are single, okay? So, and you have not been a virgin, okay? You are a non-virgin, unmarried Christian woman with a sexual past, and you need to get healed from it. I need you to pick up this book, okay? And can you tell I just got my nails done? Go ahead, pick up. I'm gonna be silly tonight, guys, because I'm in like a weird mood. Okay, so pick up the book, Rules of Engagement. Please please comment. If I'm saying something that's resonating with you and you don't want to type the whole thing out, hit the like button. Let me see your likes. Hit the heart buttons. If it's funny, hit the laugh. Comment. Also, if you would like to join me live, okay, there is a button down here that you can join me live. I would love to have you, love to have this conversation with you tonight. It'll be amazing. Like, if you can help me out, like keep up my energy as we go through this conversation, okay? Awesome. Okay, so the topic for tonight, if you didn't read the heading, we are talking about why good Christian girls have non-marital sex. Any ideas of why we do that? I'm gonna be so silly tonight, guys. I can just feel it. When's my ASMR channel coming out with those nails? Oh yeah, I was telling you guys about ASMR before, where they like this happen, they like roll their hand so you can like hear it and it makes people feel good. Anyway, so the topic for tonight is why good Christian girls have non-marital sex. I am intentionally not saying pre-marital sex because maybe not all people want to get married or see that as part of their lifestyle, and then people are now redefining marriage, not so much for same gender couples, but just in what the term marriage actually means. What does that commitment look like? Do I really need tired of waiting? Audrey says they have sex because, I need to take some notes so I can make sure I come back to that. Audrey says that they have sex because they're tired of waiting. Okay, so that's interesting. Any other ideas of why? And if also, my beautiful replay viewers, if you're watching this and it's a replay for you and as I'm asking questions, feel free to go ahead and comment, because what I do is I do come back and I will re-engage your comments. So don't think because you're not live with me that you won't be able to have that one-on-one interaction with me, okay? So I'm gonna take notes here as you guys talk about it, because I wanna make sure I come back to that. I'm tired of waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. How long is waiting and waiting and waiting? Audrey, should I bring you on live today, Audrey, so you can talk about it? Someone's telling you hi. Hi, Denija. Someone's saying hi to you, Audrey. Maybe they're resonating with that. That is, they're tired of waiting. I'm taking notes on my other phone here real quick, because I want to come back to that. So, what we talked about yesterday, as a quick recap, they fall in love and actually are committed in a loving relationship. So that's another idea of why people have non-marital sex. I'm not sure why Audrey's saying no. They're tired of waiting. Okay, so yesterday I talked about the myth of the good Christian girl, whereas like the good Christian girl is somebody who kept, I'm just gonna be raw because I'm like in that mood today, who kept their legs closed, didn't have sex until they were married, and because they held off, right, now they were able to get a good Christian man because they didn't have premarital or non-marital sex, like they had 0 partners, they were a virgin, or if they weren't a virgin, they got saved. Now that they are saved, God's forgiven all of the sins before you got saved. And so, yeah, you're in line. You're qualified now for a good Christian man. But what happens if you have non-marital sex after you get saved? The messaging in the church is unfortunately very imbalanced, because they put this unnecessary weight on women. And I went through some stats with you guys, you ladies. Like I want to remember to stop saying guys. Went over the stats with you ladies yesterday of where the national survey for family growth that was done stated that women who have 0 to 1 partner, which that one partner would be the person that they married to, are the least likely to get divorced. Women who have 10 or more partners are the most likely to get divorced. And then when it came down to them talking about what about the men and their sexual histories, they were like, we haven't done a study about men, but then again, most of the time, men are not reliable when it comes to them remembering their sexual past or their sexual activities. So this study now was being brought up and part of the Christian conversation of like, even the secular world is saying that if you have sex before marriage, you're likely to get a divorce. So putting this weight on women that if I don't keep my legs closed, hey Holly, if I don't keep my legs closed, right? No, she does not want to go private. Let me go ahead and regulate in the comments real quick. I don't know what's happening here. Danny trying to pick up somebody, okay? Want to go private, my goodness. Woo, I just had to regulate. You saw the mama, Mama Yamer came out real quick. Coach Yamer came out real quick. Come on now. So they were saying, Audrey, to your question, how many partners is too many? They were saying the study said if you have 10, as for females, okay? They did not do a study for men because they felt like men were not reliable about telling their sexual past and partners and recounting their history, which doesn't make sense for me because there's a bigger stigma on women for having more partners. So if I'm taking a survey, I'm not going to truly tell you exactly how many partners I've had as a woman. So if that's the logic that you're using, it makes no sense. So you should be talking to the men, or you talk to both parties, and whatever they self-report, because you're not there in their life, whatever they self-report, right? There has to be, you put a margin of error in there, assuming that women are going to say something too low. And this is research talk now. And you assume that men in general are going to inflate their numbers. And so you balance it out and you do a true study about what really causes, what increases the risk of divorce in marriages. And it doesn't have to, the story isn't complete only because how many partners a woman had. And the interesting thing about yesterday, for you guys who didn't join or haven't watched it, was that the women who had 2 partners were more likely to get a divorce than the women who had 3 to 9 partners. And that was because the comparison was very narrow. And so they were more likely to get a divorce. But then we went into talking about the full picture of it, right? Where it is 1 in 3 divorces happen because of something that happened on social media. 1 in 3. Okay? Also, the Bible Belt have a higher rate of divorce rates than anywhere else in the U.S. So places where there is a strong conservative, evangelical, Protestant culture have higher rates of divorce. And so don't tell me because I have had this many partners before getting married that I'm more likely to get a divorce when there's a bigger picture. Maybe that's part of the picture, and it's not because of the physical activity I had with other people. It's the reasons that I had that physical activity that I didn't get healed and brought into my marriage that's causing it to not work out, which is what we're going to be talking about today, okay? Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. I told you guys I'm in a little wacky mood today, okay? Praise him. So the reasons, what are the reasons? You guys, Audrey already gave me one. She said because they're tired of waiting or they're in a committed relationship. Two very good points. Also, yeah, it was really, I mean, honestly, I wasn't shocked by it because I've known, and I've heard it from the pulpit before, where they will tell you that the divorce rates are actually higher in the church. And there are many factors around that. But I think for me, from looking at it, what the reason for that is that we make marriage the be all, right? The fix it all. And so if I go in there with, what, Audrey? I don't even have a juice cup, but it would be, whatchamacallit? Ginger ale. We make marriage the be all fix all. And so I go into marriage thinking that, okay, now that I've crossed that line, I went to the altar, right? Like everything's gonna like magically put itself into place. And I was not prepared that there is more life outside of marriage. And so my expectations, right? Those false expectations have been dashed. This person who was supposed to be this godly man, turns out that he's just a regular guy who loves God. Like he's not this perfect man, okay? That he's working through something really eye-opening for me. I used to follow this younger couple when I first got really radically submitted to God when I was 25. And she would say all the time how like her husband is, okay, love connection. Come on here, and Audrey and Dan, whatever, Denisha, or maybe it's Daniel. Maybe the J is an H. And she would always say like how her husband pushed her and was making her more like Jesus. And in my mind, I was like, oh my gosh, he's probably praying over her every night. That's the man I want for me. He's probably just speaking scripture after scripture after scripture. And eventually she told what she meant by that. And it was because her husband, although he was a pastor and on fire for God, he was just a sandpaper, rubbing her the wrong way each and every way. And she had to, out of necessity, get in the face of God to be able to continue her marriage. And so because he was such a testimony, okay, for her to get to know the Lord, like he was hard to deal with. Okay, it was difficult dealing with him, dealing with his ego, dealing with his stubbornness and all these different things. And so because she had to deal with those things, that's what pushed her to become more like Jesus, not because this man was perfect, okay? So that's that. And so if that's what we're waiting for, right, the perfect, beautiful man who's going to wash us with the water of the word. I don't know if you guys have heard the spoken word poetry by, her name is Genetics. And she is called The Wait. If you haven't, go ahead and listen to that. It is very powerful, very amazing. But in there, she just talks about the man that's going to wash her with the word, and she's going to recognize him because the word of God would be tatted over his heart, and how he would have the faithfulness of this person, the strength of that person, just like this beautiful message and creation of the image of who she believed that God would like send to her, right? It's just very beautiful. But here's the thing. So while we're waiting on the man who has, or even, okay, while you're waiting on the man who has the word of God tatted all over his heart, okay, who will wash you with the water of the word, why do good Christian girls have sex? Number one, the issue is that we believe sexual purity is about keeping our legs closed. Okay, so we think sexual purity is only vaginal purity. Okay, that there's no one entering, there's no one leaving, it's shut down vaginally, because I know that the only way to make sure nobody else knows that I'm having sex is like I can't get pregnant, because then my story, like everybody's gonna find out that I'm having sex. Okay. Now, you don't just get to this place all of a sudden where you're like, I'm going to go have sex. There's steps. There are processes that you go through in your mind right here, in your biggest sex organ, that gets you to the place of where you end up having non-marital sex, even though you may have made a vow and said to yourself that I don't want to do that. So sexual purity is of the mind, not of your genitals, okay? So if I'm not thinking pure thoughts, or if I'm thinking, I don't want to say sexual thoughts are not pure. If I'm thinking damaging, lustful thoughts, right, about, especially if I'm not a virgin, and I'm thinking, man, I missed that one dude. He used to put it down, right? You have him in your thoughts, okay? And you're thinking about him. The Bible says if Abraham was mindful of the country that he had come from, because he was mindful of it, he would have returned. So you remember, God called Abraham out of his father's country. So if he had been mindful of that country, he was going to go back, right? Like the children of Israel, they were thinking about Egypt. Like they wanted to go back to Egypt, okay? So if in your mind, like you made this commitment to God, you could have been saved 20 years, okay? And today you're like, I'm making a decision that I want to not engage in and this is a personal decision. I don't want to engage in non-marital sex until the person that I'm going to commit, who we are going to mutually commit to each other for life, that's the boundaries that I'm going to have sexual relations within those. Partner sex, right? Because we talked about solo sex last week, which obviously I am in favor of. But partner sex, okay? Partner sex, in order for me to have partner sex, I'm going to wait on someone who I'm, what's happening here? 44, what are you doing, Audrey? That I'm going to be in a lifetime, long-term committed relationship with, right? So I've made that decision. What now happens after I make that decision? I'm walking with Jesus, but my thoughts are on the behavior and the things that I used to do back in the day. I'm thinking about my old boyfriends. I'm thinking about maybe my old girlfriends. I'm thinking about the situations, and I'm missing it because it felt like it was more fun than I'm having right now. And your mind is there, and then before you know it, and this used to happen to me all the time, and it was such a great indicator for me that I was hitting another place in the spirit. Whenever I got to a deeper place of revelation in God, an ex literally in that moment would reach out to me. Like, hey, Yama, how you doing? Where you come? I haven't spoken to you in forever. There was one guy that contacted me when I was in this deep place of meditation with God and walking with him, because I was like so full of fear and I was so anxious and had all these panics, and I just had to block everything out and focus on God. And I literally forgot everything. And this guy, I had been dealing with him for quite a while, and he like reached out to me, and I was like, who is this? Like legit, because I was so in the spirit, like in communication, in conversation with God, like needing him so bad. Took everything out of my mind, and I couldn't even remember. It took me like a little bit, like a minute or two, to be like, oh, that's who that is. So I totally forgot. When I made the decision, when I was 25, to be celibate, my thought at that point wasn't about being celibate in my mind. It wasn't about being celibate with my mouth, with dirty talk or maybe oral sex. It wasn't about that. It wasn't about me saying I'm not gonna have phone sex. It wasn't about maybe anal play or anal sex. It was only like, I can't get pregnant, I'm not gonna have vaginal sex, because that's what the church teaches. And so the reason why, number one reason why people, good Christian girls, end up having sex is because we haven't defined fully what sex is, okay? So it starts here, right? The thoughts here that are non-marital sexual relations related with a person who's not your partner starts here, okay? So I'm having thoughts, I'm missing them, I'm getting turned on, they reach out, and before you know it, it's late at night, you tired, you've been praying, but you're really tired of praying, and so you're gonna be like, hey, what's up, right? And then from that, what's up, what you doing? Oh, nothing. You start hiding the fact that you actually know God now, and all this different stuff starts happening, and then like before you know, you're going out to lunch, to dinner, you already had sex with this person, so the boundaries are very loose, like it's very loose. And so from a kiss, you in the car, all this other stuff, right? And then you end up in that situation because we didn't get the point that my sexual purity actually starts here.
And when I shared this when I first started speaking on this in 2016 and said, are you truly celibate? Because the Lord kind of checked me on it in a good, positive way, because he's so amazing and he's so awesome. Okay, he's so amazing. He was like, are you, and I talk about it in the book too, so if you're wondering, like, where can I pick this up to hear, like, everything Game was talking about, Coach Emma, pick it up, it's in there. And where God told me, like, you're actually not celibate. And I was like, what do you mean? Because it was like a badge of honor for me. Like, I'm a Christian now, and so I'm a Christian girl. Like, I got saved. I'm submitted to God. I'm celibate, right? Like, this is the hardest thing people anywhere can do, and I'm doing it with ease, okay? But I was only thinking vaginal celibacy. I wasn't thinking anything else. And so, what is sex, okay? Oral sex is sex. Just because your activity is not going to result in pregnancy or even a possible STD or STI doesn't mean that it's not sex. Okay? Okay, looks like we having a little love connection up in here. Daniel Gregorick. You better check that profile, girl. Oral sex is sex. Okay? Fingering is sex. Mutual masturbation is sex. Phone sex is sex. Anal sex is sex. For lesbian partners, scissoring, all of that is sex. Okay? So all of those things is sex. And then we have vaginal sex. So if you're only thinking that you're celibate in this area and you're participating in all of these other areas, eventually, you're going to get to the place of where you're having vaginal sex. Reason number one, good Christian girls have sex because you believe the lie that celibacy is only about vaginal protection or whatever you want to call it, okay? Only vaginal closing. We close the knees, okay? That's not the full picture of it. And so if you're thinking that way, someone can talk you into heavy petting. They can talk into all these different things. And the second reason, because that goes perfectly into the second reason why we have sex. We have sex because as women and men too, but I'm not speaking to the guys, okay? I'm not here for them. Somebody else, maybe God's raising up my husband to speak to the men on the other side, okay? Come on, Jesus. Come on, believe with me now. Touch and agree. Okay, so the reason why, I'm going to read this paragraph from the book because I think it's really good. For my post-pubescent self, and I was talking about why I didn't want to wait for marriage to have sex. Okay, so that's the premise of this paragraph. For my post-pubescent self, marriage was far away in the future. I wanted to have fun right now. Society painted an attractive picture of sex. And my church, and for you guys who are just joining, I'm reading from my book, Good Sex. And my church had nothing compelling to say that contradicted its lie. My family didn't have a better way to show me either. I had a choice. I could do it my church's way and wait for a marriage full of boring sex. Or I could enjoy the society's way and use condoms to have passionate, safe sex now. I chose door number 2 because the emotional lure of being wanted, even if only for my body, pulled me in, and I didn't have the tools to resist. And this is not a unique phenomenon, okay? Phenomena. What commercial was that? I am so loopy today. Woo, come on, Jesus. Okay. So even though we're older now, we, men and women, continue to have sex for these same reasons. We want to feel wanted. Number 2 reason. Number 1, you don't have a full definition of what sex is, which is why you do everything else but have vaginal sex and think it's okay, right? Or think you are doing it in complete contradiction of a commitment that you made to yourself. So you're breaking your own word to yourself and a commitment that you made to God. If you have not made the commitment for celibacy, I am not speaking to you. Please do not feel condemned about it. But listen, just for educational purposes. But if you're not there yet and you haven't made that commitment, no judgment. Like I said yesterday, we're not cutting the fruit off the tree. We got to deal with the root of it, okay? So this second part is for those who have not made a commitment and those who have made a commitment and now are breaking their word to themselves, okay? We have sex, good Christian girls have sex, non-marital sex, because we want to feel wanted. Everybody wants to feel wanted. I want someone who's going to make me feel beautiful, who's going to tell me the parts about myself that I don't like, that they love it, who's going to compliment me. And you know, in the beginning of a relationship, it's so sweet, it's so beautiful. He thinks you're amazing. You just can't stop staring at him or her, depending what your flavor is. You just can't stop doing this. And it's just like, oh, it just feels so amazing. You don't want this to stop, okay? We crave that. That's like a drug. We want to have that. And what we, most of the time for females, majority of the time with females, we want that feeling. And if part of the deal, like me and this partner, let's just use heterosexual couples. So the woman and the man are in this contractual relationship right now because he's entered into something and said, I like you. She's like, I agree. I accept that you like me and I like you too. He's going to do the to-do list, take you out, tell you're pretty, call you, send you the good morning text, the good night text, all of that stuff. He's going to send those things to you. Your response to that, as far as our society is concerned right now, is for the woman that you're going to open up your body to him as a reciprocal, yes, I like you too. Okay? So, and because we want to feel wanted, okay? We want intimacy. We enjoy passion. We want to feel loved. We will sacrifice our bodies to get those things. I'm right now speaking to the girl who didn't want to have non-marital sex, but felt like she didn't have a choice because she was in a relationship with someone and he had done everything. He was a good guy. Nothing was wrong with him, okay? He was really nice. He even said that he loved God. I know there are a lot of, I know personally, relationships that are in the church who are, even though they've made a vow outwardly, okay, to not have non-marital sex until they have entered into a marriage. Couples in church that are currently still are doing that. So it's not, I shouldn't say the man in the church is expecting this. The man who has not himself made a commitment to God to keep himself is going to be expecting this from you. That if he's going to do all these different things, that your body now becomes the prize for him. Okay? Now, to dig deeper into that, now that I'm thinking about it, you guys tell me what you think about this. To dig deeper into that, of course, I'm about to go on a rant. What would you say? So it's all an act until they get what they want. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's an act. It's not, I'm going to do this so I can sleep with you. That's not true for everybody. It's one of those acceptable, I think, unspoken rules that we have in our current culture. Like, for example, something very platonic, right? If you're walking into a store and you open the door, it's expected that you will hold the door for the person behind you, right? So it's the same thing. It doesn't mean anything. It's not like someone has this evil thought about you. It is some may, okay? But generally, if you've gotten to where somebody likes you and you guys are really close and they're doing these things, it's almost this accepted thing that, okay, now in order for us to truly, fully show each other that we care for each other, we have to now go and have sex. Vaginal sex, okay? Or at least we're going to start moving in that direction of vaginal sex. We'll start with the kissing, with the fondling, with the dry humping, with whatever, maybe oral sex, maybe mutual masturbation, right? Because there is a progression until you get to the place on where you're on full on engaging in vaginal sex with someone, okay? So you start in these little ways. It could start in the car. So there's all these milestones in relationships where women can sometimes feel, and I'm talking to that girl who feels that way, who feels that I have to give a little more of myself right now because he's giving something to me. Like, I like him so much and I don't want him to think that I don't like him. And so if he wants to kiss, even though I'm not really ready to kiss him yet, I'm going to go ahead and kiss him. Or if he wants to go to second base or go to third base and I'm not really ready for it, but I really like him and I don't want him to think that I don't like him because I'm also the drug of being wanted, the drug of being pursued, that drug, it is a drug, right? I'm enjoying it and I don't want to lose it, okay? And that entire situation is a complete illusion, okay? If you are with a man who truly loves you, you do not have to sacrifice your body at the altar of his affections. If you are not ready to commit to that person or they have not committed to you for the long haul, okay? I know some women, and I've even watched some shows like this, what show was I watching the other day? I can't remember. But they get upset if the man will not make any advances to sleep with them, and somehow to them it makes them think that, oh, number one, maybe he's gay, or number two, he doesn't like me. And so women have owned that somehow as well. Like, if I have my body, I'm sexy, I'm beautiful, I'm whatever, right? He likes me. Why isn't he trying to sleep with me? What's wrong with me? He must be sleeping with somebody else. That must be the reason why he doesn't want to try to sleep with me, to try to have sex with me. Okay? So, number one, if I have owned the social messaging and the narrative that my body is the prize that every man is after, and if he's not wanting that prize, he might be gay, he doesn't like me, or he must be getting it from somewhere else. Is there a fourth thing? Why is another reason women think that men may not pursue them for a physical relationship? I can't think of one right now. If you think of one, put it in the comments for me. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about, and we've heard this, I'm looking at my notes down here real quick. I apologize for that pause. The other thing that I know that we've all heard, right? The best part of being sexual, having vaginal sex. I try to pick my words very carefully because I want this talk show to be educational, to change our conversation. So I'm trying to be careful of the terms that I'm using. I don't want to use terms that are muddy, like they're confusing, okay? So if I say being sexual, when I've talked about 2 weeks ago what sexuality means and being sexual, what the person actually means, so that's why I'm trying to be clear. Like, if you have vaginal sex, okay, if you have the physical act of sexual behavior, of the list that we just went through, the oral, anal, mutual masturbation, fondling, whatever, all of it, okay? If you're engaging in sexual activity with a partner, you've heard it that women would say that the best part of engaging in that physical activity with that partner is the cuddling at the end, right? Because the desire to be known and to be seen is intimacy, and it is a part of your sexuality. But we have misunderstood, and we've had a lot of help misunderstanding, that in order for me to be known or to be seen, I have to give my body And in that place of vulnerability, if they still want me, if I'm completely naked and he is still desiring after me, it must mean that he wants to know me, and also means that he sees me, right? Not true. Okay? And so the end of it, when there's cuddling, okay, that response to hold the person closer because you just bonded together chemically, okay, that desire to hold the person doesn't mean, and I'm so sorry if I'm hurting anybody's feelings tonight, it doesn't mean that they like you or they love you. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going to give you a moment to recover. But that doesn't mean that. And so if you are someone, a beautiful queen, you have decided or somehow gotten yourself caught up in giving your body because you want that moment at the end where he'll hold you or she'll hold you, you know, whatever your flavor is, that's going to be, hey, Sharita, that's going to be the thing that's going to be an indicator for you that this person truly likes you. I am so sorry that you believe that, and I'm so happy that you're watching this. The intimacy that you desire, the desire to be known and seen, we all have that. So don't feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't want intimacy. Maybe I shouldn't want to be known. No, not at all. Okay, everybody has that. That's why good Christian girls are out here having sex. Okay, now Audrey gave us another one. She said they're tired of waiting. So why do they do that then if it's not? I don't know what you mean, do what? Your comments are a little delayed, guys, and so when you're telling me something, if I've moved past like beyond the point, I don't know what you're referring to. So obviously not for the replay viewers, but for the live viewers. So if you can be a bit more specific in your question, I can answer that for you. So I'll try to give you a moment here so I can be on the same page with you. See if you can type that quickly for me. And as she's writing that, again, for all the single women who are unmarried, who I'm talking to right now, I wrote this book to me. Full transparency, okay? God wrote this book to me, through me. Everything that I'm telling you is something that I have lived through, okay? They are battles that I have won. They are struggles that I have overcome, and I'm not in any way living them out perfectly, but this is what I do know, because I am aware of the reasons why I may engage in certain activity or put myself in certain situations. It's clear for me now, and I can truly, fully, honestly say this, I am making more empowered decisions when it comes to those things. So like before, like when I wrote the book and the situations that I spoke about in this book, I didn't feel empowered, although I said I was empowered. I didn't feel empowered in making those sexual decisions. I was completely blind. Like I wasn't awake to the reasons of why I was doing things. Okay? So Audrey says here, cuddle with you after. They'd be better off than leaving right after than they lay there and cuddle if they're not wanting to hold you legitimately. Here's what I'm saying, Audrey. The fact that you are held after a sexual activity in partner sex does not equate to someone. There shouldn't be a read in your mind and your emotions that tells you that this person likes me or they see me or they know me, okay? That's not where the seeing and the knowing begins, because you've now given them your body. The knowing and seeing doesn't happen in that space, in that moment, okay? Intimacy and knowing, and we've all heard this before, happens, like the greatest intimacy that I can give anyone is my soul being naked, okay? My naked truth, my bare truth with the good. What Lady Gaga say? I want your ugly, I want your disease. Yeah, da 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 da. I want your love, right? You're ugly, you're good, the side of you that you don't let people see, the times when you cry, the times when you're happy, the things that make you laugh, your passion, your purpose, the people, the relationships that are close to you that mean the world to you. When you open up and bare your soul and your spirit to someone, your mind, your thoughts, so your soul is your mind, your will, and your emotions, right? So if I am naked before you in that sense, that's true intimacy. And so if I open that up to you and you tell me that you love me even after you've seen that part of me, if you tell me that you love me in spite, or not even, I don't like when people say I love you in spite of, like, oh, I'll take you, but the rest of it, no. I love all of it because all of it is you, okay? You're not just one thing or one, expression. We all have multiple people on the inside of us, okay? We really do. We really do. We have multiple people on the inside of us, and if you are privileged enough, if I love you and feel safe and feel protected enough to say this is me, that's intimacy. And so if you are able to hold my emotions, hold my thoughts, hold my opinions, hold my pains, hold my joys, if you can hold me in that way, that's you seeing me, that's you knowing me, that's intimacy. And so if that happens and I get to a place where I'm physically intimate with you and you hold me afterwards, I already knew before we got to cuddling that you knew me and you saw me and you loved me. That's the pathway. So if I skip all of that and I don't let you see me and I'm trying to be something that I'm not because I want to impress you, okay? If I'm scared to let you in. I have all my guards up. And so you're only getting the part of me that everybody else gets, and maybe with just a little bit of extra time. If you're only getting that, and in that place, I end up giving my body, opening up my body for you to engage with, that's not intimacy. You don't know me. So that's why many times we get up from those situations, right? You've cuddled. It felt amazing in the moment. Your hormones were, going crazy. Your dopamine was like, yes, okay? Having a real nice party, okay? That's why when you get up, you oftentimes feel so lonely. You feel lonelier after you engage in that activity. And women who've gone through this, I'm testifying. I'm not saying this like I heard somebody say this. I'm talking to you from my experience, okay? This is why I wrote the book. That's why on the back of it says, stop having bad sex, okay? That sex that I just explained, where you get up and feel lonely, that's bad sex. I don't care if your toes were curling and he sent you from here to Pluto and back. I don't care, okay? You're still having bad sex because you're not really being seen. You're not really being known, right? That, like the way you really desire. I think I talked about it last week in this book here, from this book, Sexual Intelligence, okay? That many of times, most if not all of the times, men and women alike enter into sexual relationships wanting, or sexual activity, wanting to fill an emotional need that they have not been fully transparent about. When that need isn't met because they've had sex, problems start to be created, right? We have issues. So it's not maybe about your technique or about this other stuff. It's just I came to have sex with you so I wouldn't feel lonely anymore. So if that was the case, we should have sat down and had a conversation. Let's go have a meal. Let's break some bread, okay? But you're coming with that undisclosed need that you don't want to feel lonely. You want to feel known. You want to feel seen. You want to feel beautiful. You want to feel wanted, right? You're entering into it with all of that, right? And for men, I want to feel validated. I want to feel confident, right? I want to feel valued. All these different things. So like, just picture this. You have two people coming into a physical relationship, and there is all this stuff, right? They're like books. All this stuff on the inside, all these needs that they haven't shared with each other. So nobody opens, come on, Holy Spirit, this is good. Nobody opens the other person's book, but they do this, right? Nobody's opening the book. Nobody's reading nothing. I'm not getting to know you. You're not getting to know me. We here, okay? We doing all this. And we leave, and we're like, how come I don't feel so good about that? Because he never said what's on page 30. Tell me about your childhood. How did you feel about that? You never opened his book and said, where was your father? Why did your mom have those boyfriends in and out of the house? How did you feel? Did anybody put their hands on you? Have you healed through it? We're not opening each other's books, so there's no intimacy. So if I'm, as a single, good Christian girl, tired of waiting, because I'm not really waiting to have sex per se. I'm waiting because I want to have a partner. I want to have intimacy with someone, okay? So I'm going to go ahead, because I'm tired of waiting, and I'm going to break the vow I made to myself and to God. I'm only talking right now to the people, hey, Lindsay, I'm talking to the people who have made that commitment not to have sex until marriage. And so because I want to feel wanted, okay, my closed book of all of my needs and his closed book of all of his needs, nobody's going to hear it. We're going to rub together, and we're going to feel really good in that moment, because it feels good. The Bible says it's good when two lay together, because at least they keep each other warm, okay? So you're laying together. All right. But you haven't opened each other's books, so you walk away and you feel lonelier. You feel less seen. You feel less known. The spirit of depression has an open door to come in and ruin your life a little bit, destroy things, bring a little bit of chaos, okay? Because you gave the last thing that you had to give him or her, okay? You gave everything. And after that, they still didn't want to know you. So you do it, he doesn't call, she doesn't call, it takes them a while. That's when you start, why haven't they text? What's going on? We've all been there, okay? Why haven't they text? What's happening? Yeah, because you gave it in that expectation that because I gave it, now I'm going to receive something back, which is true intimacy. Which is they're going to call me because they're going to want to talk to me. They're going to care about me. They're going to send me the good morning text. They're going to send me the good night text, okay? Boy, Audrey, Daniel is really trying to get to know you. Wow. Okay. Should we bring Brother Daniel on so he can speak on it? This is the Love Connection night. All right. So, if you guys have any other questions, let me know. For mothers of teenage girls, I have a signature program just for you, okay? So if you're watching this, it's a coaching, one-on-one coaching program. If you are watching this and you're like, oh my goodness, I think my daughter might be into something like that, or man, I think I might be into that. I may have passed some of these ideas onto my daughter, and I need to fix this right away, okay? Slide in my DMs, send me a message, and also in the description, I have a free webinar teaching, okay? But you can go and set up a direct one-on-one breakthrough call with me. Hit the link. I have a few slots open up in the next couple of days. Go ahead and set up a conversation with me. Let's have this conversation. 50 minutes, okay, of a breakthrough call with me one-on-one so we can heal the relationship and get your daughter set on the right path where she's not thinking that vaginal sex is the only thing about celibacy, okay? So she can get it that there is a full spectrum of sexual activity that involves your mind, okay? And then if you're a beautiful single lady, please pick up this book, girl. It's time for us to get freed, man. I mean, when you're in that cycle of where you're giving your body and you're expecting different things, like for me, I would have moments of that, but the way that I dealt with it, and I talk about it in the book, is like I became the initiator, right? I was the one who was forward and like, I'm gonna go pursue that person. I'm gonna get what I want. Like no one's gonna use me, right? And that's the way I saw it. And so even in that place though, like the hurt of feeling lonely, getting up because you've done the chase, you got them, right? Because you can be young and think, oh, it's hard to get a guy. It's really not. It's really not. If you're offering them sex, you could get any guy that you want, okay? Some may take a little longer, but literally you can be deceived into thinking like, oh, it's because I'm so special that he wants to sleep with me, okay? That's a lie that I believed for a very long time, okay? Up until my mid-20s and realized and didn't get the revelation until later was like, oh, guys, it's not me. Like my ego is getting boosted because they're like, oh, I can sleep with this guy. No, child, they would have slept with. I could have looked like anything, okay, and they would have had sex with me. It's not an ego booster to be that person, okay? If you're struggling with that, call me. Slide in my DMs. Let's have the conversation. Now that I've moved beyond that, in a more mature place in my sexuality, I have gone, like, I will share what my sexual journey looks like with you guys as we go along. I don't want to give you all the juicy details right now, but I have definitely moved beyond that. Like, I'm going to initiate sexual behavior or partner sex with someone because it makes me feel good, or I'm going to flirt with this person because it makes me feel good. I'm not in that space anymore, and it feels good not to be in that space, because whether or not you tell me that you want me sexually doesn't mean anything to me. Like, you're telling me like, ooh, like, because guys can do that, okay? And even some girls, like, oh my gosh, I bet you are amazing in bed. Especially too, as a sex coach, when people ask me what I do and I tell them, there can be those comments. Like, I don't see that personally for me. It's not a compliment to me. It's not like, oh my gosh, he's cute. He said I would be amazing in bed. Like, when I was 20, definitely was. And if he bought me a drink, oh, he was just like about to be my husband, okay, for the next couple of weeks. But I buy my own drinks now, okay? And that compliment doesn't mean anything to me. So, like, I am more attracted to people who I can have deep conversation with that's not surface. Like, the first night I meet someone, I could tell you their entire life story. Where they grew up, where their mama at, their cousins, the thing that hurt them the most in life, their passions, okay? That's what, I think, are they called sapiosexuals? With people who are turned on by people's minds. That's me. And so, like, that's more of the route when, like, I'm out dating or getting to know someone. That's the route I'm going now, because I've evolved beyond that. Like, my sober mind isn't seeking after being physically sexual with someone in order to be known. Like, I'm looking for someone who feels safe, that I can trust to bear my naked soul and spirit to. That's the intimacy I'm desiring after right now. So it's been a beautiful shift. And I think also being like in your 30s, there's something very settling about that. It's just like, I know I'm cute. Like, I don't need you to tell me. I got this. Okay. This is the part of you loving your body. You being the first person, like, adoring yourself. I've gone through the process. Okay. I know what I have. I love what I have. And I don't need Tom, Dick, Harry, or Susie to tell me that I look good. Okay. I got it. I want to be known for my passion. I want to be known for my purpose. I want to be known for the the people that I want to serve in this earth, right? I want to be known for that's where I want my beauty to come from, okay? The way that I give, my heart, like I want to be known for those things. So as we move along this week, this was a good conversation today, guys. That was awesome. I definitely started a little loopy, and I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know how I'm gonna make it through tonight because I was really so loopy. But that is it. Even the computer has died. That is it for the night. Thank you, beautiful souls, for staying with me, my beautiful lovers. I will see you tomorrow. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you like it. Slide in somebody's DMs and send them this link so they can watch it if they need to hear it. Why do good Christian girls have non-marital sex? Okay, so if they need some help with it, go ahead and help them out. Be a giver. Share. Be a sharer. Sharing is caring, right? All right, lovies. Love you. Bye.